You do not have to be good. You do not have to walk on your knees for 100 miles through the desert repenting. You only have to let the soft animal of your body love what it loves. Tell me about despair, yours, and I will tell you mine. You do not have to carry the weight of perfection. You do not have to control anything. You do not have to fear the regret of failing to reach your dreams. What is meant for you will be for you. You have to give yourself permission to be enough now. And I am sweating. It's like 95 degrees in here. I need to put a fan on because I don't have air conditioning. So I really hope that it doesn't mess up the sound. Oh, so much better. Oh my God. My dreams sometimes feel too big to hold. And there's too many pieces. And if I don't force things to happen, if I don't oversee every little piece and how it manifests, something's gonna fall through the cracks and I'll wake up one day and be devastated that I didn't rise up to the challenge to meet my dreams. I keep forcing and forcing and pushing and pushing, but part of me knows that's not what's going on here. That's too small. That level of certainty that if I don't force things, it's not gonna work. It's too small. The world is so much more mysterious than that. And I know I'm guided. I know I am continually met by something bigger than me, by my dreams themselves. What is meant for me will be for me. I don't have to force anything. We've inherited frameworks of survival, of performing to earn love. You do not have to be good. You do not have to walk. I don't remember how it goes. Walk for 100 miles on your knees through the desert, repenting. For a long time, that poem by Mary Oliver spoke to me about not needing to be a savior, letting that go. I don't need to put others first forever. But right now, that poem is striking a slightly different chord. And it has to do with giving myself permission to be enough now, not after I've accomplished my dreams. Not once I've done enough to earn the rest that I yearn for. You just have to let the soft animal of your body love what it loves. I think that's literal. It's not some sweet metaphor for something else. Follow your bliss is the advice, the wisdom that keeps coming through to me from so many different channels. It's a phrase I've heard from Joseph Campbell, Julia Cameron, Adrienne Marie Brown talks about your orgasmic yes. Alexis Pauline Gumbs talks about your sacred yes. We are not meant to logic our way through life. Logic is a tool, not the goal. We have so much more wisdom in our bodies than our mind can possibly comprehend. But it feels dangerous to let go of the control. Planning, if I do this and I do this and I do this and I fit this together, and I'm a list person. I make lists upon lists upon lists, lists within lists. It's endless. And I spend way more energy than I would like to admit making my lists and planning how I'm not going to let anything fall through the cracks so that I can achieve my dreams than I do actually doing the things I want to be doing. Because I ultimately don't trust yet that what is meant for me will be for me. That I yearn for my dreams for a reason, and that I'm guided in getting there, and that if I actually surrender, my play will lead me into my dreams. Play is what leads us there. Not planning, not control, not logic or rationality. But to actually let go of logic and rationality and planning feels very dangerous, at least for me. From the lineage I come from the society I was born into, it feels dangerous. Why does it feel dangerous? Because if I actually let myself do whatever I want with my days, things wouldn't get done. That's the certainty of the story in my brain. I would end up years from now regretting, living in grief of dreams that died, dreams that I let die. But there's something I yearn for more than I yearn for perfection, for control. I yearn to be free, truly free. Free in a way that something deep inside of me knows is possible. And this type of freedom that I yearn for lives just on the other side of surrender. Letting go of the control that always was an illusion anyways. And the insight keeps landing. And it's gonna keep landing until I finally get it. Follow your bliss. I cannot speak on anyone else's experience. I do not have to worry about survival in the way that many people do. And yet, I live as if I do. I live in survival mode, even from within this abundant privilege that I've been born into. So all I can speak on is my experience healing this living from survival energy based on what resonates in my soul, what resonates as true. Learning how to follow my bliss requires moving from stillness. It's about getting really still, quieting the mind so that you can see with your heart, so that you can listen with your body. Just let the soft animal of your body love what it loves. When we quiet our minds enough, we receive clarity on the path. We are not always privy to how our dreams get accomplished. Our job is to honor the yearning and take the step that is required right now. And sometimes the step that is required right now is not the logical step, not the rational step. Something in us knows what is required. Or maybe not in us, something outside of us, something bigger than us, knows what is required. It takes a lot of courage to follow that inner voice over the logic and the rationality, over a culture that tells us that we must work hard, not only in order to survive, but in order to be loved. What does it feel like to move from stillness? What does it feel like to be still? I don't know very many people who truly know how to be still. I feel a lot of rage when I go out into the world because I'm met with people, so many people who are running from themselves and projecting that pain out onto others. And I feel that. I feel those projections. I feel that pain. And it lands as certainty. This is just the way the world is. The world is X, Y, and Z, and we gotta accept it. This is just the way it is. People say that with such conviction. You gotta work hard. Gotta keep moving. It's painful. Everyone seems to be running from themselves. When I meet someone who really knows how to be still, it's obvious. Because that type of an energy speaks for itself. It doesn't need to be justified. It doesn't need to say, yes, I know how to be still. Because it knows. That type of energy knows. There's no justifying, there's no defending. And for so long, I believed the certainty of other people. I really spent most of my life negating my own experience because it wasn't matching other people's. And so I must be wrong. I must be wrong. My experience doesn't match what I'm seeing and what I'm hearing and what I'm being told, and therefore I must be wrong. That was a painful process of continual self-abandonment, continual denial that my experience is valid too. I have some harsh truths that I keep locked inside of me because no one wants to hear them. I had 3 different times in my life a vocal nodule that developed, which is like a polyp on your vocal cords. I had to go for 6 weeks each time without talking, without saying one word. And the problem kept coming back. My throat was constantly sore and in pain. And I now understand that that was the consequence of shutting down my truth. Don't speak your truth because it's not, people don't want to hear it. So as I reclaim my life for myself and give myself permission to live my life and give myself permission to validate my own experience, I must also speak the truths that I feel. One of the truths that I experience on a daily basis is that most people I meet do not have the courage to admit what they actually yearn for. That underneath their desire for this or for this or for this, whether it be for money or for this job or to make a difference or to have a partner that is X, Y, and Z or whatever it is, underneath it, we yearn to be loved, we yearn to be free, and we yearn to feel alive. You can trace almost all of these yearnings down to these core elements. And people will not admit that. And they certainly will not admit what it might take to get there, to feel alive, to feel free. And so, in the pain of refusing to acknowledge what they actually yearn for, of that continual self-abandonment, they project on other people their own pain, saying, this is just the way the world is. Is it? That's silly. That's silly because we have a practice of philosophy that is centuries and centuries and centuries old. And what lies at the heart of philosophy is that no one knows what's going on here, actually. No one knows why we're here. There's no way to prove why we exist and what we're doing here and what is the purpose of life. So when you tell me this is just the way it is, it's just silly. If it were that easy to know, philosophy wouldn't exist. People wouldn't be questioning what we're doing here. I can feel people's energy when people are not at ease in their own skin, not at ease in the present moment, not feeling alive, and unable to be still. Still in the sense, not simply physically still, but still in a spiritual sense. And yet they cling to the stories that they are fine, that their life is exactly what they want it to be, that they don't have grief that they're avoiding. It's gaslighting, and I'm not blaming anyone. It's not intentional gaslighting, which does exist. But this is a more insidious gaslighting of the collective. It starts with these little things like a child asking, "Mommy, are you okay?" Because the child can sense something's off. And mom says, "Yes, of course I'm fine." And she believes it. She believes she's fine because she's clinging to that lie for dear life. Because if she admitted how much pain she was in, her life might fall apart. The child can sense that she's not okay. But the child receives the answer, "Yes, I'm fine." And the child's like, "Well, I must be wrong then. I must be wrong. Because this authority figure that I trust is telling me something that doesn't match what I'm experiencing, so maybe I have to adjust how I interpret the world that I move through in order to match what information I'm being told is true." I must be crazy. So I'll just get really good at figuring out what other people think so I don't have to feel crazy anymore and I can just live in their reality. And I don't have to question myself. This was my experience. So what does this have to do with following your bliss, letting the soft animal of your body love what it loves, moving from stillness? We all need to learn how to move from stillness, how to learn to pause and listen. listen to our deepest yearnings, and move from that place. But it feels dangerous because we learned to feel safe in buying into the collective myths that rationality and logic will get us where we need to go. Rationality and logic will protect us from ourselves, from our inherent laziness or whatever. A few days ago, I experienced something that has become quite common for me to experience. I collapsed under the weight of my attempt to control. I had a breakdown under the heaviness of striving for perfection, striving to control my destiny. And then, while I'm having this breakdown, full on tears, sobbing, pain, feeling despair, feeling unable to find motivation or joy or care about the things that I love, that type of a breakdown. Because to confine our being, our essence, our yearnings, our dreams to a linear, rational, logical structure is actually painful. It's painful for our soul. The more I soften and awaken to my true nature, the more painful it becomes to continue to subject myself to rationality and control. And so these breakdowns are getting worse. And every time it feels like I'm backsliding. Like, now I've really messed it up. Like, now what have I done? Like, it's shame from all angles. Like, if I was really, this is the voice that tells me, if I was really awakening, if I was really finding my way, why would the breakdowns be getting worse? It doesn't make sense. It's not rational. So you should feel despair because you're clearly failing. This is what it feels like. But no, actually, I am learning how to feel. Finally. And what that is revealing is that the process of collective gaslighting that we've experienced, in which we had to shut down things that we know intuitively, that we know in our bones, and we have to abandon the part of ourselves that knows that we are made of love and light. Shutting that down is painful, and there's grief there. If you were born into a society that taught you to be rational over following your bliss, there's grief. And it's more intense than the mind can comprehend. That grief is intense, and it lives deep, deep, deep inside of us. And we must feel it. So these breakdowns that I have been having that are getting worse, they're not getting worse, actually. They're getting better in the sense that I am learning how to feel, finally, to feel alive. And I'm finally processing the grief that got buried deep inside of me as a little sensitive child that had to shove down her own experience in order to make sense of the world. We must feel that grief. And choosing to follow our bliss, choosing to let the soft animal of our body love what it loves. That will open us up to this grief. We don't need to chase the grief. We don't need to try to feel the grief. All we need to do is to try to let the soft animal of our body love what it loves in each moment. Follow your bliss. And when we can't, when we realize how hard that is, how scary that is, then we start to crack open to the grief that's there. When I feel that I can't enjoy a soft Sunday afternoon with the sun caressing my skin in the soft blankets of my bed, I can't enjoy it. Why not? It doesn't fit in the rational plan. You're gonna get behind X, Y, and Z. Oh, it's painful to feel that I can't feel alive, truly alive. So if we simply set the intention to follow our bliss, to let the soft animal of our bodies love what they love, simply setting that intention will reveal how scary that is, how hard it is, how impossible it feels, and underneath that, how much grief is there from having learned to repress it in the first place. This is the message that I needed to hear today. I needed to express that rage. I needed to express that pain. And I needed to remind myself of the truth that resonates in my bones, which is that I am meant to feel alive. I deserve to feel alive. And I know that the path is one of following my bliss, one moment at a time. And so, I will continue. I will continue to tend to that intention and to trust that the days of pain and breaking down are not backsliding. They are the process. Those are the days that open me up to feel more and more and more alive. You do not have to be good. You do not have to walk on your knees for 100 miles through the desert repenting. You only have to let the soft animal of your body love what it loves. Tell me about despair, yours, and I will tell you mine. Meanwhile, the world goes on. Meanwhile, the sun and the clear pebbles of the rain are moving across the landscapes, over the prairies and the deep trees, the mountains and the rivers. Meanwhile, the wild geese, high in the clean blue air, are heading home again. Whoever you are, no matter how lonely, the world offers itself to your imagination. Calls to you like the wild geese, harsh and exciting, over and over, announcing your place in the family of things.